The documentary film Big Time Losers highlights the issue surrounding athletes and universities' relationship within commercialized sports. To understand the issue of universities and the students caught in the commercialization of athletic programs, we must first take a look at the historical background that has led to the current state of matters. The history of the National Collegiate Athletic Association came into existence and how the commercialization of sports gave them the authority to monopolize college athletics. This has caused discrepancies in the roles of athletics within the college education system, which began at the turn of the century soon after the creation of football in America. Beginning in 1906, President Theodore Roosevelt called for the rule changes and organization that would help prevent injuries in football players, which established the Intercollegiate Athletic Association of the United States. In 1910, this organization would later become the National Collegiate Athletic Association, or NCAA, where player safety would be the main focus of the organization for almost half a century. In the 1940s, members of the NCAA agreed to limit the compensation allowed to players and recruiting, known as the Sanity Code. The first NCAA executive director, Walter Byers, took office in 1951 and in his time created the term student athlete. The term student athlete was created in an effort to define the role of athletes within college sports as amateurs, as well as limit the responsibilities and compensation the school and organization held towards the athletes. The NCAA regards itself as an organization that is interested in the safety and development of its student athletes. They have come under recent scrutiny over the profits made through college athletics. While the original intent of the organization holds true to their mission, the rise of commercialization in America has distorted the purity of the NCAA. The advent of television that came about in this 60 years ago has given way to lucrative revenue contracts for schools and the NCAA. Athletic contests broadcast live led to an explosion of exposure for sports advertising revenues that has in turn created an unprecedented amount of games played and times and dates being changed to accommodate them. As schools started to realize the potential to have a nationally recognized sports program and the profit associated with them, money was allocated within the schools to support intercollegiate sports. Athletic programs have taken a priority at many universities where schools have admitted athletes and given them unlimited resources in an effort to capitalize on the athletic sports market. The issue that Big Time Losers highlights show how commercialization of sports has led to an effect on students, athletes, and universities. Football and basketball are the biggest revenue-producing sports in college athletics. Athletes from these top revenue-producing schools are given a barrage of supports and benefits to aid them in their academic endeavors because the school has such high expectations for their commitment to athletics and winning. Athletes put such precedent on athletics that oftentimes their academics suffer, and they are subsequently the sport with the lowest rates of graduation. Football graduation rates are 46% and basketball graduation rates are 54%. Time allocated to sports are disproportionately higher than time spent in school. Some basketball players are away from school for weeks at a time. This takes away from the integrity of their academic learning. In addition, many football and basketball players understand they are in college for their athletic ability and put eligibility with the hopes of becoming a professional over academic progress. In the meantime, the school is making large amounts of money off athletes' talent as an entertainer. In reality, only 1% of athletes make it to the professional level and are left with nothing to show for it if they don't make it. The NCAA tried to institute an academic learning progress rating system that would force schools to get athletes on track to graduation. Despite this, the problems have arisen with schools directing athletes into majors that are easy or not applicable in the workforce. This is an attempt by the school to keep athletes eligible. All of these issues point to the reality that athletes are not able to take full advantage of the Benefits of school. Big contracts allocated with football and basketball have led to a multi-billion-dollar industry, and universities are trying to tap into. With all of the time and compromises to education, some are wondering why athletes are not considered employees. The NCAA retains it is not a business because there are no owners or shareholders. Additionally, the NCAA claims that most schools are losing money on college athletics. Athletic revenues in college sports bring in $4 billion a year, but it's estimated schools collectively spend $5 billion annually. Universities are constantly competing to have the newest and best facilities to attract athletes, as well as paying millions of dollars in contracts to coaches. It is widely known that the costs will remain fixed, but the revenues are based on winning. Only 40% of schools are able to profit off athletics. Schools that are unable to maintain the costs of running high-profile athletic programs turn to raising student fees to support the athletic programs. Aside from the financial risks of keeping a high-profile athletic program, the academic standards at the university are impacted. Athletes who are not good enough to go to this colleges academically get in because of their athletic talent. More often than not, athletes lack the preparation necessary to be successful at prestigious schools. These athletes then lower the standard and progress of the class. Non-athletes are impacted by this process because a student who might be accepted will lose the space to make room for an athlete. Students who want to take part in sports to build principles of sound bodies and mind are also at a disadvantage because they cannot take part in the college athletics due to members being pre-selected for teams. All of these factors show that athletes, students, and universities have paid the price as the result of sports becoming big business.